Good morning. My name is Ait Barrios, and today I will be presenting about the perception of mental illnesses and its effect on adolescents. So my question was, how does the perception of mental illnesses affect adolescents and their need to seek help or treatment? So through my research, before beginning my research, I had the idea that the perception of mental illnesses is pervasive in adolescents and affects their seeking for treatment and their overall quality of life for those with the disorders. So this graph right here shows how throughout the different ages of adolescence, the mental illness that appears within their group spikes up, and then it also leads to long-term effects, which affects them later in life without treatment. So I was able to connect my argument to the stimulus packet provided with the central theme of perception. I was guided with the articles of Attitudes Towards Women because it showed me about negative perceptions that a certain group, for example, the Western culture, can have on a certain group, and as in the Muslim woman, and how it can negatively affect them. I was also guided through the 3D pavement art that showed me that sometimes you have to look at bigger pictures and fully understand and have background knowledge to fully understand a certain topic. So, what are the 3 most common mental illnesses in teens? One of them would be depression. Depression is a dysregulation in the brain function that doesn't control your emotions correctly. So, through research, I found that 30% of teens ages 12 to 17 have depression, yet only half of these teens seek treatment and are able to get help. The second most common mental disorder in teens is eating disorders. Eating disorders affect teens by not allowing them to fully enrich themselves with nutrients that would be able to help their health. These teens suffer from disorders such as anorexia nervosa and bulimia, which are easily treatable, yet in fatal cases do lead to death. The third most common is anxiety. Anxiety is a feeling of worry, fear, or anxiety that impairs people from living in life. So I found that 10% of teens ages 13 to 18 suffer from anxiety, yet only 20% of this 10% are able to seek help and treatment. So through research, I found that the 3 most prevalent perceptions of mental illnesses are weakness. So people with mental illnesses are perceived as weak. Certain people think that people with mental illnesses are responsible for their mental illness, when in fact that is not correct. And they also believe that mentally ill people are unable to function correctly. So the topic of weakness. So for example, with depression, I found that many outsiders who don't suffer from depression or aren't affected by this illness believe that people with depression are able to just snap out and feel happy. However, this is not the case, since depression affects a part of your brain that impairs you from being happy or having feelings like such. So this causes people to feel ashamed. For example, with eating disorders, people with mental disorders such as people with eating disorders feel ashamed of their bodies, and people that only watch them and don't fully understand this topic are unable to comprehend that this is also an illness in the brain and not just emotional plea for attention. People with anxiety feel weakness in social groups that other people, such as extroverts, wouldn't understand. Responsibility. So responsibility for mental illnesses are believed to be caused by the negative stigma that surrounds mental illnesses. For example, with depression, people who don't fully understand the illness believe that depression in certain groups is the fault of the person with depression. So this causes and ignorance from this is caused by ignorance from the general public that causes them to have inaccurate. This also affects the people who suffer from depression, eating disorders, or anorexia or anxiety. The ability to function correctly is impaired. For example, many people believe that people with eating disorders aren't able to live out their lives because they don't have enough nutrients in their body to support them. However, this fact is correct, but it is caused because of a brain disorder in the person affected and not because the person doesn't want to eat. This is also a big stigma in depression, in which people believe that people with depression are violent, are unable to control their emotions, and are unable to make important decisions in their lifetime. So, my conclusion was that the negative perceptions of mental illnesses do restrain and or don't motivate people affected to seek help. My solution was to increase awareness in schools with programs such as DOC, which is a group of counselors or teachers that help bring positive awareness to mental illnesses that not only make the people affected feel comfortable, but also motivates them to seek help. Another possible solution would be universal screening in pediatric clinics. For example, this would allow the students or the people affected to feel comfortable with people who are professionals and know what they are talking about. However, limitations are present in the solution, since there would be difficulty to allocate money in schools to go to programs such as DOC that would help students feel comfortable with their surroundings. Another limitation would be the years of systematic prejudice against mental illnesses. Mental illnesses have been present for as long as humans have been on this earth, and the negative stigma has affected them negatively, and this stigma won't be erased as easily as it appeared. And this on the next slide.
Alright. So, how does the conclusion respond to the other research you found and examined?
So, the research that I found, some of it was saying that now in the media, with it's becoming more like mental illnesses are becoming more embraced, and they aren't as negatively seen as they were before. Yet, however, there's a spike going up in people with mental illnesses. Yet there isn't a spike going up with people who seek help for mental illnesses. So I concluded that even though there is awareness being brought to these mental illnesses, people are still afraid of being held back from past prejudices that restrain them from getting help. So.
Okay. How did you handle the differing perspectives in order to reach a conclusion?
So again, with since now people believe we're in the 21st century and there's a lot of embracement of different topics positively, I concluded that although these perspectives were very positive in the way that people interpret mental illnesses, they still don't fully grasp the entire topic, because they only grasp the awareness to it and not the seeking help part.
Thank you very much.